Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flat Thunder channel. My name's Andy, and this is my 520H Wheelhorse. If you watched the other videos, we were troubleshooting some wiring problems that we had on this unit, and we fumbled our way through and was able to get it to start and turn off with the key as it's supposed to. So we have that problem fixed. We need to tackle this flat tire issue, because these big old flat spots aren't getting us anywhere anytime fast. That doesn't spin so good, nor does it look good for that matter. This was fully inflated to the correct pressure about a day to a day and a half ago, and it's already flat. This sidewall is just destroyed, and these tires got to go. I got my new Carlisle brand, Turf Saver tires, and I was super happy to get these in the mail. My other Carlisle branded tires are made in America. Unfortunately, these are made in China, so maybe that's why the shipping took so long. I don't know. A little disappointed with that, but all in all, they look like okay tires. Definitely better than what we have. So let's get these old ones off and try to get these new ones on. I have my valve core removal tool. This is the first step. You want to remove the valve core from the valve stem. Don't lose it. This is kind of a fancier one. I believe it was made by Lyle Tool Company, and this is actually made in America. So a lot of the other ones look like a little T-shape handled one. Doesn't matter, they all work. You just want to get the valve core out. Here's what the valve core looks like. It's just a little, I believe it's called a Schrader valve. It's what allows you to inflate the tire and to relieve pressure. You want to be careful when removing this. If the tire is under pressure, you don't want to try to shoot it out of the valve core. Next step is you want to try to break the bead off. Normally you take the tire off of the tractor and lay it flat in the ground. I've never done this like this, but I'm going to try to do it on the tractor just to skip that step of the process. So you want to try to knock it off of the bead. Which is on there. They sell a special bead breaker tool for this, which I do not have. Okay. You get the inside off of the bead. Here, I thought I was going to show you a cool trick with those channel locks. That didn't work with a piss. Usually they come off that easy. Not today. Guess it's a good opportunity to check the bearings. Gotta be honest, this is the first time I ever took a wheel off of a 520. It has a nice, which I assume is a hardened steel spacer for the inner seal to ride on. It's pretty nice. Alright, let's see if it's going to cooperate from this side. Oh, that was a trick. I just needed to go off. Needs to go off from the outside in, apparently. Didn't know that. The more you know. So then you just use your tools and work your way around. That was way harder than I needed to be. Alright, I'm going to clean where the bead of the tire seats, and probably just the whole rim, but it's not that dirty. And we'll try to put the new one in. I use this glass cleaner just because this is what I used last time I seated tires. It worked pretty good and it evaporates. You can use soap. I don't like soap because it tends to be a little bit corrosive after you leave it on for a while. So we got to go on from the back, and you want to make sure you check the rotation of the tire if it has a rotation. I don't know if it really matters in this tire, but I want them both to be the same. And we'll also put the made in China on the inside. Lube that up real good and just start to work it down. As far as you can get it. Then you have to move to your tire spoons. Give you a close up what we're trying to do. You have the tire around the edge of the rim here, and then we need to work the bead from here to here over, and it's really turning into a wrestling match. I'm using the edge of the spoon to try to work it around, and it's really difficult. Surprisingly, this is more difficult than a larger tire because you can brace yourself on the tire on a bigger rim and then work your way around. This just wants to move all over the place, so it's a little tough. Plus I don't think it helps that it's a little cold. Alright, we'll try it again here. Whew. Holy crap. I don't know if you got that, but we just got one side over. Now I need to work this inner bead on. Finally. That was ridiculously painful. Now with the valve core out, you want to be able to put air in here fast enough to make it seat on the bead, but you also want it to be able to come out fast. You want to be careful you don't over pressurize the tire, and you want to keep your fingers out of where it's going to seat. So I'm just going to hit it with a little more window cleaner all the way around here, kind of seal off the air leaks as it's trying to fill. Hook up our air chuck. Once you hear it pop on the bead, you want to pull your air chuck off so you don't accidentally overinflate your tire. Well, we finally got it on there. It was kind of a battle. It fought me the whole way along. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that old grease out of the wheel bearing there. I already cleaned up the spindle and all that grease in there, and we'll throw it back together. Now, you don't want to get crazy with tightening this nut up. I tighten it pretty tight just by hand there and spin it around to try to get it to seat the bearings. And if you watch the tire, it stops way too abruptly. So I'm going to back it off. Made it too tight with my fingers. I'm going to back it off one flat. There we go. That looks real nice. If you want to get real scientific with it, you can put a dial indicator on there and check the end play. New rubber, baby. Had some real difficulty with the second tire, getting it on the rim, and I actually damaged the bead in the process. Just was ill prepared. I haven't done one in a very long time. It was cold and it really fought me, but you know, all excuses aside, it's my fault. I screwed it up. So I had to buy a second tire, a replacement for a replacement, if you will. In doing that, I decided it was time to buy the Harbor Freight mini tire changer. We're gonna get this thing out of here and we're going to try to replace my replacement. We'll see how it goes. And some cool instructions. There's the bigger picture for it. It's got that awesome China smell. Little plastic spacers. I know from watching videos of other people, this is, I believe, what goes on to tighten it up. Looks like it's threaded in there. Tapered cast cone. There's the mounting base. There's the main body of it. That's all aluminum. I'm actually kind of impressed with that. Some pens.
Maybe this little doohickey is what you use to get it on the rim. And this end to get it off. And this, along with that aluminum piece, is part of the bead breaker. Let's get this thing set up in the bench vise. We got to get the wheel and tire back off the tractor because we put it on there temporarily so we can still move it. And we'll test this thing out. We're going to take the tire that I damaged off, clean up the rim because I scuffed the rim up a little bit, and put on the new tire that we bought. Okay guys, we have it in the bench vise, and the time lapse there. I just went around and broke the bead down on the other side. It's my first time using this. There's a little bit of a learning curve because it's my first time using this. So what we did now is we flipped it around, and the only thing that I did different is this tapered cone that's supposed to center the wheel on this back side. I put it upside down so it's flat because I didn't want to damage the oil seals by jamming it in there. I think it would smush the axle seal. And if you notice in the time lapse, if I showed it to you, I struggled at first because I didn't have this set in a position so it was shoving the tire down far enough. So now we have it set. And also one important thing that I forgot to do, or didn't know to do because I didn't read the instructions. When I assembled it, I noticed that this rubber handle was not all the way on this bar. So I'm like, well, that's not right. They screwed up. Shoved this rubber handle all the way on the bar, and then I get to put it on this aluminum handle and realize, crap, this thing won't go through this slot. So you got to take this rubber grip off to get it to go through here. So I wrestled with that. That was my own stupidity there. So now we're going to go around and break the bead off on this. This works half okay in the bench vise. I'm sure it would work much better on using this rigid base. So if we get to doing this a lot more, I'm going to mount this somewhere. But for now, we'll see if we can't make this work. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is the inside, and the tire has to go off from the outside in. Let's not snug it up there. Remove this tool. Okay, so I got lubricant now, and you're gonna have to listen to me over the torpedo heater because I want the garage to be really nice and warm, and I actually had to strip down out of my hat and my flannel. Here's the lubricant we're gonna be using. This is Murphy's oil soap. It's actually for cleaning floors. I used to use this as a cleaning product back when I was 16 on working on boats, and it's a very good cleaning product that's not harsh on your vehicle or boat in that matter. It doesn't strip any of the wax off. It's supposedly safe for hardwood floors, so basically non-acidic. A lot of the regular dish soap that I found will cause corrosion and actually cause rust if you leave it on metal. So we're going to lube this up with our Murphy's oil soap and get our demounting tool in here. lube it up. I want you to use the round end. The idea is you pop it just underneath the bead. And once you get it underneath the bead, they want you to work it around in a clockwise motion, so it'll want to tighten this. Look at that. So we're gonna have to take a step back. I got the other side off of the main bead, but the rim has a section that's about that long, and either it fell back down when I was popping this side on, or I didn't get it all the way off. Do the same thing, lift it up so you can get this little bead or ball in down through here. I don't know if you can see that or not. The whole tire wants to spin. There you have it. Right there is obviously the really bad part that I hosed putting it on the first time. I knew this wasn't going to work after I fought with it and started damaging the bead the first time I installed it, but I was at a point where I was determined this thing was going on this rim. Now, much to my surprise, it actually seated the bead and would hold air pressure, but would leak off after about a day. So from dragging the tools and working the spoons around on this rim on that first tire change, I broke up some burrs. You want to be careful, actually. Oh, there it is. Right there. Actually filleted my finger pretty good on the first go around. You don't want to do that, so I'm going to take my file and work around here. It's got about this much that won't go on. You can take that tool and hook the half cut off end on the rim. It's just behind the part that started. Here to here it won't go on. So now we're going to try to spin it. That worked. So I hooked this flat part on the edge of the rim and held it up at an angle, and you got to try to pull it back and slightly rotate it. It's kind of difficult to do. So supposedly we get this on as far as we can go and do the exact same thing on the top side that we just did to get the first bead on. Well, not the bead on, just the tire on the rim. Okay. So right now, doing the exact same thing that I did underneath. I'm just holding this end with one hand to keep the whole tire from spinning and working this bar around. So the other part of the trick, which they don't tell you, is you need to get the part that's already started on. This part back here, you need to squeeze it so the bead is down into the undercut section of the rim. That way the whole tire can go that way. Took the whole bench vise and was spinning it. I'm gonna hit this with some more lube. Ta-da! That was pretty difficult, but it's on there. And I don't think we screwed anything up. 1,000 times easier than the spoons. And I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, but this tire showed up as a triangle. So we might have difficulty getting the beads to pop up, but we're gonna try it, and if everything goes smooth, it'll just right on there. See what happens. There's one side.
Welcome back to 1992, maybe 93, but oh boy, look at those hubcaps. This tractor sure was a beaut when she was brand new, and there was some chunky little kid driving it. Believe it or not, that's me. This is indeed the same tractor. The remaining video segment, I'm going to wrap up all the items that we left hanging from the first video. And we have several other small issues that we needed to handle, and we're going to wrap it up with some snow plowing at the end. This bad boy is back in business. This rod has tie wraps on it. That is not factory. This rod kept popping off the end of this ball joint, and the last time I used it, I forgot about that, and I was plowing snow, and I had to put some zip ties on it real quick to hold it on there. So we're going to take that off of there, and we're going to try to repair this shaft at least good enough so we can use it. The washer off. See how that popped off of there? That's not supposed to happen. This little ball socket here is supposed to stay on that spherical ball down there. Having difficulties accessing the bottom of this with this wrench.
Alright. That was interesting. So normally you wouldn't be able to hold this like I did because the rod would be in there, but basically this ball needs to stay in the socket on that rod. And it has a 1/2 inch nylock on the bottom. So let's take this over to the bench, get a better view of it, and see what we can do. Okay, welcome to the messy bench. We're here at the bench vise. Here's our ball. Here's our socket. And it is really bad. Should not move that much. So I'm looking at this and it looks like this end from right around the middle of the hole, right around here, it looks like it bent up. So it definitely shouldn't move that much. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to bend this end back down, because at some point in time from here up it got bent. You can even feel the dent where it sucked in there. So I'm going to leave this in here and try to bend this end back. Doesn't look like it wants to come back. It's just got a crack there now where it was sucked in. You can see a predominant curve down. So I'll try to heat it right here and see if we can bend it up with a pair of pliers. Oopsie, I'm melting the nylock out of the end of the nut. Well, that's no longer a nylock. Well, then I'll worry about it now. Get this ready first. I don't think I did anything. Well, that's way better than what it was. Not saying it's perfect. You can see the metal where it was sucked in popped out, but it definitely doesn't have that massive amount of play up and down that it did before. Maybe only a fraction of it. So I'm going to hit that with the welder, just to tack that. I'll probably grind it and then hit it with a welder on both sides. Oh, that's still hot. Put a little bead of weld right on that crack on both sides. Pretty ugly, but I think it's gonna work. Then I tried to walk a little bit around here, right around where the ball wants to come out. And I got a lot of the play out of it. And I think, she feels a little rusty, but she'll work herself in there. Need to get some grease worked in there, but I think that's gonna work. So I'm gonna hit this with some white lithium grease, try to work it in around that ball, and then we'll get it back on the tractor. Lubed. Okay, since we melted our nylock out of there, we're just gonna throw a lock washer on there if it'll fit. Alright, that was the trick.
Had to use the open end. The tractor's in full reverse now, so the lever's is back as far as it can go. Had to use the open end, rotate it as far as I could go, rotate as far as I can go, and then flip the wrench because it gives you, because of the offset of the slot, it gives you more freedom or more movement. So one turn, rotate, next turn, rotate, and so on. So I just need to tighten this up. Not tight, but move it in so it stays on, and it's got enough freedom there. So let's test it. Full reverse, full forward, full reverse. I think that might just work. So here's the other split bushing for the PTO lever. Move this out of the way. It goes on this end of the, you can see it, goes on the inside of the PTO lever. Goes inside here, right behind the battery tray for this to pivot in. So we're gonna get these wires all wrapped up and see if we can't remember how this all goes back together. I know we have 2 bolts here, but I'm not for sure. I don't quite remember how the micro switch goes. Goes in there somewhere. We'll figure it out. Now we're just going to take our electrical tape and try to rewrap all these wires. They were originally wrapped with electrical tape to protect them. The wire comes, it's burnt. You can see the black in the connection there, and the white wire turned brown. This is a splice connection here on what I believe is this voltage regulator here. It takes the power from the stator and goes to charge the battery. But this connection is burnt, and I believe why it's burnt is this gray wire is spliced into this white wire through this crimp type connector. And this was all factory to the best of my knowledge, because I never changed it. And we've owned the tractor since it was brand new. But this connector must have shorted out, and it must have shorted out in the case down here, I imagine, which begs to ask the question, why have this part of the connector insulated and then have this bare section here open so this can short out? That makes 0 sense to me. At a bare minimum, both of these should be protected with some type of insulation. But what we're going to do to fix this, I want to get this burnt connection out of here, because that's probably not a very good connection from the wire to the crimp inside there. So we're going to cut this off, and I'm going to splice, I'm going to solder the gray wire here into the white wire, and I'm going to put a new connector on the end. We're also going to clean up all the spade connectors down here on this voltage regulator for all 3 terminals. That piece of crap out of here. Try to solder these 2 wires together here. So that's what she looks like on there. We're going to crimp this with our new tool that we received over Christmas, or for Christmas, and try to heat shrink that on there. That's pretty easy. The double crimp, so it crimped it in 2 spots. That looks pretty nice. It's on there pretty good. So all I was gonna do is heat shrink that tubing. I'm gonna get this spade cleaned up down here on all three and reconnect this, and we should be good to go. Okay, those are all nice and shiny. We'll apply a little dielectric grease to them just to keep them happy. All three connections cleaned up. This new one on here spliced, so it's completely insulated and it's not gonna short out on the case. So I think we solved that part of the problem. We got this bucket of parts here. I have no idea where all the bolts go. I don't remember. There's a roughing nail in there. That doesn't go to this. Got this bracket and our micro switch, how we have to figure out how to install. So we gotta get this all back together. Let's get this thing off of this lift. It doesn't need to be up here anymore. It's been in there for, gosh, we're getting pretty close to a year now. Haven't been able to use it. Still got mud all over it from the last time we used the blade to move some dirt. So let's get this thing off of here. We just wrapped up all the wiring repairs so we can start it with the key again, and we hopefully don't have to deal with jumper wires anymore, and I think we're headed in the right direction. I did start this tractor after we did all the wiring off of camera, and it was a little chunky. It has some old gas in it. I hope it's just the gas, but maybe the carburetor needs cleaned. So this is going to be the first on-camera start after the electrical repair. So right now, I'm just taking you for a little ride on where we normally would plow, or checking out the area to point out any problem areas, things you don't want to hit, and anything you might catch on. So here, obviously, this sidewalk is sunken in, and you're definitely going to catch there. This spot right here, that's going to be a massive catch. So you want to take note that you missed that spot, because that's going to be a massive catch point, and if you're flying along on the tractor, it's going to catch the blade and it's going to sling you into the steering wheel. Nobody wants that, and probably shake you just like that. I'm gonna use my new Milwaukee powered grease gun and grease all the joints on the front axle here. You got tie rod ends, spindles, the center pivot pin for the axle. Let me also have some grease joints on the, or grease zerks on the other side. I'll show you. Left hand side, you have a greaser here for the pedal, and then one up here for the steering half moon gear. Hey everybody, we did it. Whole driveway is cleaned. We didn't move too much stone. We really need to get a nice freeze, pack that gravel down. But Wheelhorse 520, she's running. She's plowing snow. She has new tires on the front that don't go flat. So I think we're winning. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Leave all your questions and comments in that section below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button over here. We got a lot more video content coming out. New videos every Wednesday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy this winter snow. This could be all it snows for me, and I'll be happy.